I have decided something. What have you decided? I have decided
that
When we're born, we have a mommy and daddy, right? And then when we grow up and get married, we have children of our own. And then our children grow up and get married and have children. And so on and so on. So it's very important and very fun also to have sex.
Happy New Year! Hey guys, it's Miranda, and you're listening to Interesting Sex, a podcast about who, how, where, and why we fuck. I'm really excited today because it's 2019. Did you ever think it was going to be 2019? Which is terrifying because next year is 2020 and the world is like just going so fast. But it's rotating at the same speed, yet here I am getting older and having more fun. Anyway, there's no time to feel like you didn't accomplish things last year. Let's just move on to this year and have some fun. And when I say have some fun, I'm starting out this year with one of the best episodes I've ever made. I get to talk to a really awesome, sexy fetish master and porn star. His name is King Noir. Please look him up. You can just Google him. He's on Instagram, Facebook, pretty much everything. King, K-I-N-G, Noir, N-O-I-R-E. He is so hot. He is delicious. Check out his pictures. Please support him. And then listen to our episode at the same time while you're like drooling over him. Anyway, he lets us know about dominance. He lets us know about all sorts of sex stuff. He's a wild, wild man. And I couldn't be happier talking to him, as you can tell throughout the episode, because I can't stop giggling. Anyway, please go on to Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening and rate and subscribe and write us a review. I hope you love the show as much as I've enjoyed making it for you. So just send the love back. I love hearing from you guys. I've got like 2 emails from one person. If you're that person, I'm talking to you right now. Thank you. You rock. Oh yeah, go to InterestingSexPodcast.com. Do you think you have great sex? Go on there. Let me know. Be on my podcast. I'd love it, guys. I'm here for you. You're here for me. Let's make the world go round in 2019. Okay, I'm such a loser. So I'm going to stop talking now and let you hear this awesome interview. Let's open our ears, our hearts, and our holes and give a nice, warm welcome to King Noir.
Peace. Good evening.
Hi, is this King?
Yes, it is.
Hi, King. It's Miranda. How are you doing?
I'm good, Miranda. How about yourself?
Good. You're King Noir, or do you go by King? Or, sorry, that's a weird way to start a conversation.
I am King Noir. Some people call me King, and people who are not comfortable in their own royalty try to just call me Noir to make themselves more comfortable. It never works, though.
They get more comfortable calling you Noir instead of King?
It's funny. I run into certain people who are just like, "Hey, Noir," and it's like I don't run up on people and just call them their last name. But okay, that's fine. Some people they'll say like, "I'm uncomfortable calling you King," and I'll be like, "Okay, that's different." But
yeah.
I've actually heard it more than once now, and it's really, really funny because if I meet somebody and her name is Queen, I'm not going to not call her by her name or the title that she feels that she deserves or he feels that he deserves, So it's really, really funny. It lets me know a lot about people.
Yeah. I mean, too, like there's people that are named Jesus or Jesus. Like,
this is true.
Yeah.
And I've actually run into people who, I know someone whose name is Jesus. And people have been very uncomfortable. It's funny, like I know people whose name is God, or that's how they refer to themselves. Like if that's how you refer to yourself, fine with me. I'm completely comfortable in my own skin. I don't think your title is lessening me.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I can just call you King though for short instead of King Noir.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Hopefully everybody out there gets even more comfortable because we can all be kings, queens, gods, goddesses, and whoever we want to be.
I like that.
Just got to live up to it.
Yeah, you've earned your name.
I have.
Were you born with that name?
No, it was actually a name that was given to me.
Okay. By who?
Both King and Noir. So I owned I still do. I own a company called Sensual Noir. And in my neighborhood, people used to refer to each other as peace king, peace queen, peace god, peace goddess, like that. So a lot of people just call me king. So when I started performing in adult entertainment, that was my name. But I have, my erotic touch massage and the entertainment company was called Sensual Noir. So people just kind of just be like, oh, that's King from Sensual Noir. And then later it just became, that's King Noir. So I just kept it.
I love it. So you are definitely an entrepreneur, right? You have all your own businesses and stuff. So you have Sensual Noir, you are a masseuse?
Erotic touch.
Erotic touch.
Yes.
Okay.
People, I think erotic touch is its own art form and its own experience. And I also respect people who are masseurs, masseuses, massage specialists, and things like that. So I like to call it erotic touch. It's very different than if you showed up for a deep tissue or a shiatsu.
Okay. Do people show up for erotic touch massages? Or
That
that's
they
like a
do.
different, okay.
They show up knowing what they've
Knowing what they're
what
asking.
they've booked. Yes,
Okay. So, okay, well, we have a lot to get into. Like,
we
first, let's just
do.
start. I know this is so exciting. Thank you for being here. Um,
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. So, we have first, I just want to know who you are. We can hear that your deep, sensual voice is a man, but how do you identify? How were you born? Who are you sexually? Who is King Noir?
Wow, it's funny. Whenever that question is asked, I just like to say I am me. I don't like labels too much,
Okay.
and I pretty much know that the only things that I have to do in life is stay black and die. So all the other stuff in between, you get to kind of experiment and learn as you go.
I love that. What do you mean by stay black and die? Like, I'm a white girl over here. I don't want to
Well,
be disrespecting, but
no disrespect at all. I think
it deserves
it's
something
a it's
deeper.
it's a good question, and people got to know. I mean, I think we live in a society and we live in a world that puts color on everything, and people might hope that one day, we'll live in a utopian world where people don't see that. But when there's a day when we are treated equally as human beings in this country, but until then, we ain't got no choice but to stay black. You know what I mean? Like we're told every day, it's shown to us every day that there is some sort of difference in how people are treated and respected and loved in this country and this world when you have melanin in your skin. So,
I'm so sorry that that's something that you've had to experience and that I haven't.
well, I appreciate that, but
Yeah.
everybody is born into the world we're born into, and hopefully we use, if we have any privilege, like me as a man, I know that there are things that you're going to experience that are completely different because you're a woman. And I didn't even ask how you identify yet, so pardon if I'm jumping to any conclusions, but I know that women or LGBTQ folk are going to experience things that I don't, so hopefully I can use the privilege I was given as a cis male to hopefully help make this world a better place for them. So, we all got to play our part, and hopefully we will get to that utopian society in the future, or at least our kids will
Yes, our
be
kids
able to experience it.
or our kids probably.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Somebody kid.
Somebody's kids. And then we get hit by an asteroid and have to
There
start
you go.
again.
Like as soon as everybody realizes it, that's when the asteroid hits.
But maybe that's the point. It's finally
Mm.
coming to a place where we realized it and then it's okay for it to end. Maybe that's the game.
But you say we got to start all over, like we're in the Matrix or something like that.
Yeah.
But nah, I dig it. That would
Okay.
be some kind of divine comedy.
So we've already talked about you doing sensual, erotic touch. And then
Yes,
what else? You do other things too. I found you because
I
you
do.
do fetish stuff, but tell me about all the things you do and then we'll go from what I want to talk about.
All right. Well, I am a master fetish trainer, an adult entertainer, a male performer for adult films. I'm also a musician, a father, and an eye guy.
Do you have a favorite thing of those?
A favorite out of all those things? No, no. I feel like I don't like to choose between them. They're all who I am, and I like to be myself unapologetically.
And you're a new dad, right?
I have a newborn, but I have been a dad for a while.
Gotcha. As an adult in adult films, you put your dick in other people.
I I do that.
Okay. And
I
what's
do that.
that like?
In them, on them, around them.
Okay.
All,
So how did this?
what it what is it like?
Sorry, I
Uh,
don't mean to giggle a lot, but you're attractive, and it's harder to interview males and ask them these questions. Just so you know,
it's okay.
doing my
Giggles are
best.
fine.
Okay.
As long as you enjoy the interview, then it's worth it for me too.
Okay.
I'm a
By the way, I'm
pleaser.
not using this interview for anything. I just am rusing you.
Oh shit! This is just like for your personal stash.
Yes.
Okay, then we'll have to discuss payment at the end of this
Right.
interview in quotations. What is it like to be porn performer? Honestly, for me, it's I've been involved in adult entertainment for a long time and it's very much who I am. Like I enjoy being watched. I am a complete exhibitionist. It is my number one fetish. I think that it's like a way not only to put food on the table, but it is a way to feed my fetish. So I really enjoy it. I love to be watched.
When did you start doing porn? Was that your first entrance into the adult entertainment world?
Yes, yes, that was my first. The first thing I ever did was like pictures for a porn magazine when I was 18 years old. And then I started doing like some webcam stuff, and that pretty much rolled right into the fetish. I started off doing private cuckolding sessions.
Private, private what?
Cuckolding.
What is that?
Cuckolding is when somebody gets off from watching their wife with another man.
Oh.
So I played what is called a bull in that scenario, where I would be the prized cock in a in a setting or scene for couples. So that was like my first real introduction into sex work and all of that.
So,
So it
like,
was like one after
husbands
the
would
other.
hire you, like, find you and be like, "Hey, man, I need you to have sex with my wife."
And not in so many words,
Yeah.
sometimes it definitely started with people who were doing the webcam stuff. So it might be the person who was running it actually introduced me to my first clients who it's like, hey, they saw you jerking off online and really think you have a nice body and he's not endowed and wants to watch his wife with a man who is.
I mean, that does sound like a pretty sweet gig.
It's very interesting. I think one of the things that I love about sex work in general is you meet so many kinds of different people. You learn so many different fetishes, kinks, and quirks that human beings have. So it's like, for me, I do get turned on by the infinity of sex in general. Like, there's no, you'll never have sex the same way twice if you're doing it right. So you'll always find like a new spin on something like that might have been something you've already done before. Like you might have done missionary a whole lot of times, but it completely is different when you're doing missionary with somebody's husband right next to you, with a cage over his dick or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what you mean, but I can tell, but I can tell that it would be a different experience. And so,
Yes.
so right out of high school, you were like, "My dick is huge. I think I should be in a magazine," or how
No,
did this present itself? How did it
that
present yourself to
sounds really
presenting
cool though.
yourself?
I wish I had that
I haven't seen your dick. I have not
amazing.
watched your videos, but on Instagram, there's always girls like looking in your pants, like and like excited. So I'm guessing it's big.
Oh well, you have to go and watch one of my movies after this
I should have. Yeah,
to go along with your personal interview stash.
right.
No, actually, I left high school when I was 15 years old. I dropped out of school because they told me they were going to kick me out. So I
Why?
definitely was on that. You can't fire me when I quit. So
Why were you going to
uh,
get kicked out?
I was a little wild in those years.
Okay,
So just like fighting and all kinds of other stuff. So
like
um,
smoking pot.
Yeah, that too, I guess. I mean, it was more for fighting than
Okay.
anything else. I never got like arrested for smoking weed or nothing.
Were
But
your parents together? What was your home life like at that age? That
I was raised by a very amazing mother who worked a whole lot. Yeah, I my mother definitely was like when I had dropped out of school was definitely like you're not gonna just like sit around. So you got to get your ass to work if you're not in school. So, I started working. I was in the workforce. I had
she maybe
two
should have said,
jobs.
"Get your ass to work." You know?
I'm pretty sure
She
she
didn't
used
know.
those words and then
Yeah.
looks back at it like,
Dang.
okay, I guess.
I told him.
But nah, I was working and I had a friend who, this is when we were 18. She knew I needed money. We had been messing around with one another for a little while. So she made the perception like, hey, so these people want to take pictures of me for a porn magazine. She was dancing at a club. And she was like, I don't want any random dicks in my face. So I know yours and I know they'll like you. Do you want to do a photo shoot? And it paid way better than everything else I was doing at the time. And I get to have sex while I was doing it. So I was like, oh man, this is awesome. Because around the same time I was already starting to explore more of my kinks and fetishes and things like that. And I had known that I definitely like being watched. So it wasn't like a anxiety thing. It was like a super turn on when I was there and they were taking pictures, and pictures in porn magazines are very different than actually having sex though, because it'd be like, put your hand here and open her up, but don't actually lick her clit or something like that. It's like all
That's
insinuation that
almost
we
even more
shot.
exciting.
Yeah, so
Like
it's
it's
like
so
it's
close.
there, but I can't do it. You know what I mean? So it was really, really dope. So from there,
But
I was like,
did
oh,
you
I
guys
might.
screw right afterwards, or it was like a professional thing?
Oh no, I mean, me and her were definitely intimate
Okay. Because that's
afterwards,
like a hot
but
experience.
it was. I mean, there's finally at a certain point where they're like, okay, yeah, put it in, and we got to get this angle and all that good stuff. So that was
Gotcha.
cool.
Okay, so that's how it all started for you.
Yeah.
And then did you get some education otherwise, or you just started kind of doing your own things and making your own decisions? Because not that you needed education to be incredibly like smart or anything. You just seem like you've got your shit so together. You have like 20 different projects going on. You seem like, you know, how did
Oh
you
well,
self teach yourself?
I love to read. When I had left school, it wasn't just like, okay, I'm never gonna get an education. So, I got my GED and I started going to Passaic Community College in Jersey. Then I went to NJCU for a little while, but I wound up having to leave college to take care of a sick relative. So my side hustle of sex work kind of became my full-time hustle for a while at that point. But I've held many other jobs besides that because I also do music. So,
Okay.
from about the age of 22, I had started releasing my own music. So it's kind of like I did a lot of music stuff in the foreground for a long time, and sex work was in the background. Or when I was doing different community projects and work like that, I had taken a hiatus from sex work for a while.
I was just about to tell you like how much I like your voice.
Oh, thank you very much.
And then you started talking about music. Are you do singing, or you do the instruments, or what do you do?
I'm an MC. I do hip hop music.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're an MC, do you do like the words and stuff? What is
Yeah, I'm MC, rapper, the
okay?
words and stuff,
What does
all of
MC
that.
stand for?
It stands for a lot of things, but it definitely stands for move the crowd, you
Oh,
know,
cool. I never knew that.
master of ceremonies,
Okay.
all kinds of good stuff.
So many letters.
Yeah.
MC, BDSM.
Uh-huh.
There's four more letters. Okay, so in the fetish world, what is your position
What
in?
is my position?
Yeah, like what do you?
Whatever one I want to take, really. I'm a dominant, but I am not like the cliche of it all. I like to describe myself as more of a trainer
Okay.
because I help other people as a master fetish trainer. I help people identify their fetishes because all of us have them. Just not everybody knows what they are. A lot of people don't even know how to define them. So I help people identify what their fetishes are, and then I help them find ways to live those fetishes in safe and satisfying ways.
Okay, so how do you help somebody figure out their fetish?
Lots of different ways. But
Hi,
I mean,
I'm Miranda, and I need help figuring out my fetish.
we already know that you have an auditory fetish. You
Oh,
like
that's a
my
good
voice.
point.
So, I mean, but just something as simple as that. Like a lot of people, their perception of fetish and kink is very much in the box of like, I have to either like leather or feet. They don't understand. Like a fetish is defined as anything that turns us on that is not directly related to procreation.
Okay. Right now, I have a secret. I can smell my feet.
Okay.
It's not good.
It's not good.
No,
So
they're
that's not
stinky.
like a turn on for you to not wash your feet for a little while and
No,
then
no, no. Do you think people
get
get
on
off
an
on their own
interview.
feet?
Say that again?
Do people get off on their own feet?
Some people do.
I guess so. Yeah, that was just my secret. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Nah, you good.
Um,
So like let's say for example, your fetish was feet. Now, some people are their fetish might come from a place that makes them feel some sort of shame. So how do we work through that shame?
right.
Then once we work through that shame, how do we incorporate this fetish? Maybe you're already in a relationship and you don't know how to bring that up to your partner. Or you're single and you've been in 100 different relationships and none of the people let you like feet the way you want to like feet. So all of your relationships are either going to be unsatisfying or they are going to be some sort of living a lie because you're not able to express who you are sexually. So how do we find somebody who also is your kinky match? And that's what I do as a trainer. Within my own personal sex life, I am a dominant. I enjoy topping and I am also a pleaser. So I'm not the kind of dom who gets off on just hurting people. A lot of times we have this perception that if you're a dom, you have to be an asshole. I'm also not that. I just don't bottom for nobody. So my experience through fetish has been very interesting because there are a lot of cliches that people fall into. Like if you're a dom, you have to dress this way. If you're into this particular sex act, then you have to be this way. And what I'm trying to do is show people that, just like we said earlier, sex is infinite. There's so many different ways to express yourself that you don't have to fall into a category or somehow fit yourself into a box that wasn't made for you.
That's amazing. I really like, as a master fetish trainer, the last thing I thought you were going to talk about would be to help people figure out like the shame that surrounds their fetish. Like that was the last thing I expected to talk about right now. And I think that's really amazing. And so you actually help them, like, how do you help somebody get there? And then how do you help them come through it? Just like living through it and talking about it and understanding it and then like accepting and loving it
hmm
about themselves. Like how do you do that with somebody?
All right. Well, first and foremost, whenever we get into these settings, I always tell people, there's nothing wrong with your fetish. The only things we tell people is as long as you leave children, animals, and people who can't say no or say no to you out of it, there's nothing wrong with what you're into. You know, Once consent is there, you should already let go of shame. You should already let go of your doubt or start to do so, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just stick with feet just because that's what we were talking about. So let's say in your setting, you smelled your own feet. That's your thing. You want to be able to have a strong odor from your feet. Maybe not all the time, but certain times in your play. How do you make that okay for you and also present it to your partner? There are certain times when, let's say, you have a little odor that people aren't like, oh, that's horrible. Why do you have sweaty socks or something like that? And that's maybe after you come from the gym or after you play basketball. Maybe that's a way for you and your partner to engage in something that then your feet will sweat together. So maybe they won't be as offended that maybe she just got out of this really, really nice shower and you're like, hey, I'm jumping into bed with no shower or something like that. It's like little ideas and little ways to do things that just might open it up to being a little bit more comfortable. Because maybe that odor from your feet is something that you're always very, very self-conscious about. But at the same time, it turns you on. So if you're both engaged in it, it'll make you less self-conscious because both of y'all feet have a little odor to it right now. And that might be going way too deep into foot odor for everybody out there listening, but it kind of gives you an idea. For me, as an exhibitionist, I know maybe like 90% of the people that I run into on a regular, everyday basis are going to be uncomfortable with people watching them have sex. But if I am in the porn industry, everybody that I run into is okay with having sex on camera. You know what I'm saying? So we're being watched in that way. There's a set, there's, a camera person and all these other people on set that are watching us live. And then I know afterwards, when it goes out to the world, there's going to be thousands and in some case millions of people who are going to see me have sex. And that's a turn on for me. So now I don't ever really have to be in a setting with somebody and insult them. You know what I mean? Because some people would just be like, well, I don't want people to watch this. I'm not comfortable with that. And then I'm like, oh, well, okay, well, I'm not really trying to do this thing.
Right.
So then no one feels uncomfortable. Everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm so down for people to watch this right now that you really get to be in your element.
Yeah.
So how do we find people that element that they need to get that charge that turns them on,
Yeah. And then when you're thinking about, so like you're about to have sex in front of the people on the cameras, so that turns you on. And then you start thinking about people watching you have sex. So then you just get like harder and harder and harder, like thinking about all of it.
Absolutely.
Are there, what are these people called? Fluffers? Are there fluffers do you have your own fluffers?
Do I have my own? Yes, it's called my right hand and my left hand.
Oh,
I have
you
my
fluff
own fluffers
yourself?
all the time. Well, sometimes on set, you and whoever you're filming with have a connection, and other times you fluff yourself. Maybe back in the 70s or something like that, they still have fluffers, but we're in this new age, and fluffers are an added expense, I think.
Right, because it's like you can pinch your own nipples, right?
They're
Like
like, no craft services and no fluffers.
no craft
That is,
services? You have to
I mean,
sex
unless you're
all
unless
day
you're
without
on
extra food?
unless you're on one of those really big fancy porn sets. If
Right.
you're on an indie porn set, then you just make sure you have your own food when you get there.
So I have a question. Of course I do,
Sure.
because that's what we're doing. Okay. What is the most stereotypical porn character that you've had to play in a porn?
Oh, I've been a pizza delivery
You
guy.
have?
I have. I have.
Did you
But
have your dick in the
it
box?
was real because I was once a pizza delivery guy in real life. So I don't think that I had to stretch much with my acting ability. It was one of my random odd jobs. But
I had sex with
uh
the pizza delivery guy once in real life.
wait, what?
I had sex with the pizza delivery guy in real life
In real
once.
life?
But I
Yeah.
did know him.
You
But
knew
he
him? Oh,
also
so
didn't,
you didn't
yeah.
ask for like the cliche sausage topped
No,
pizza
but he did
situation.
not charge me for my pizza.
But that's a good
He
thing.
paid for the pizza after I ordered it.
He's a gentleman.
Okay, so you do expos and stuff to teach people how to do doming?
We teach a lot of different classes
Who
at the
is we?
expos. My partner, Jet Setting Jasmine, and I.
Okay. Oh,
So
so
we would
that's your
just
sex life partner?
my sex life partner. She's my sex life partner, my business partner, my making baby partner. We're partnered up in a few ways.
Okay, so she'll have sex in public too.
She will. We have.
Do you like to still find sneaky places to have sex, or you don't because you do it on camera?
Oh, of course. We have sex on and off camera.
But do you find sneaky places off camera?
Sneaky places? Yeah, some sneaky places and some places that are just like, let's see if we can get this off in this parking lot on the hood of this car
On the
situations
hood of
too.
the car?
Yeah, hood of the car is like the perfect height. And also it's got like that, the curve.
Oh,
So
that's
your
so
back
hot.
is all arched and all that. Well, you don't do it as soon as you pull over. You gotta start.
Oh, I didn't mean like it's
You
hot,
gotta
like it's
start.
hot. I meant like it's hot, like it's
Oh,
hot.
yeah, because you don't want to burn your ass on the engine. That's not cool. That's not sexy.
Wow, that's really cool. Talk to me about being a dom and like the toys you use. And do you like being a dom, or you just do it because you're good at it and you can make money that way? Or is
It's who I am.
okay,
Like that's one thing about my films and my performances, my music. Like everything that you get is just me. It's who I am. I don't play a character. Like the things I do on camera are things that I actually enjoy in my sex life. So the toys that I use when in like a BDSM session, the ones I use are ones that I like. Like I don't just search out other toys per se.
okay.
I really enjoy impact play. So flogging and spanking, caning, whipping, all of that.
What is caning?
Caning is exactly what it sounds like, getting hit with a cane.
Okay,
But they range. It's not like just the old Walker cane.
right.
They range from like bamboo and wire, and there's all kinds of different kind of canes you can get out there for different levels and different sensations.
What do you
So
like about doing that?
impact play I enjoy because it's another form of foreplay. You have to warm someone's body up. You can't just run up on them and hit them with a whip. You can't just crack whips on people out of nowhere. That's no fun. But to build someone's body up to the point where they can tolerate a certain level of pain with their pleasure is a turn on, because for me, I love watching someone's breathing change and their body language and feeling that energy that comes off of their body that lets you know, like, we can go harder. That is like a super turn on for me. And even in that same sense, like there's certain pain that I like during sex as well. Like I love hot wax on my body. I love a woman's nails in my back. I definitely have had partners where we've slapped each other and things like that. So, I get turned on by it too. Every instrument that I've ever used on someone else, I've tried it on myself or had somebody else try it on me, just so I know what it feels like. So I wouldn't want to make someone feel something that I haven't felt myself.
You have videos and stuff where you like to put people in cages and beg
I,
for
I,
your dick.
I do have those.
What do you think you love about like just being dominant in general? Like what is the submissive person giving to you that makes you feel
Well, I'm a work of art that should be respected and admired, just as there are works of art that I respect and admire. So some people have to express that, and they have to be punished if they don't do it properly. Some people, for their supper, they need to sing sometimes to truly appreciate it.
well, you got me to stop giggling real quick. Um, okay. So, would you ever be if you found that there was somebody that was deserved of being worshipped like that, you would return that to them?
Yeah, I can worship from a non-submissive place.
Yeah.
And I have, I have a scene with Jasmine that I love. It's called Sanctified and Juicified. And I'm just pouring oil all over her body, warm oil, just as, to be like they would anoint back in the day. They use oil to anoint kings, queens, gods, goddesses in that sense. Paying enough attention to every part of her body to show that it deserves worship. And I feel that anytime I make love to somebody, anytime I fuck somebody, every stroke is showing that their body deserves praise and worship.
So, say your girl was not doing something for you in the right way, would you just keep punishing her until she did it right and then she would get to have sex with you?
For a submissive, yes.
Because if you're going to have sex with her, it's a way of worship?
In some cases.
Okay, but it can be not.
It's not if I'm going, like, if a punishment isn't exactly, people like to get flogged.
Yeah,
It's not always a punishment.
right,
If you like to get flogged, I'm not going to punish you by flogging you.
right.
So their punishment would be they don't get dick if they don't do something right.
But if somebody didn't like getting flogged?
If somebody didn't like getting flogged and that was a hard limit of theirs, I wouldn't flog them. I only do things that are consensual.
Right. Okay. So I couldn't trick you and be like, but you can't punish me by not giving me your dick because I don't want it, and then you'd have to give it to me to
Nah,
that would not work.
You just wouldn't get any dick anyway.
I wouldn't get any dick anyway. Man, story of my life. I'm just kidding.
No, but I think that all of it is like I look at sex, it's like when you play music with somebody, you find a harmony, you find a rhythm with one another. So a dom and a sub, you find your rhythm with one another. You know, there's an ebb and flow to it. A sub has a lot of power because if that sub says their safety word, everything is over. That sub tells you what they are comfortable and not comfortable with. And if you actually are a good person and a good dom, you're going to respect those boundaries, you know. And I think a lot of people have a perception of the BDSM lifestyle where they think things are done non-consensually or things are forced upon subs. Any situation where you have non-consensual sexual activity, that shit is rape. You know what I'm saying? So that's not BDSM play anymore. That's somebody forcing somebody to do something they didn't want to do without their consent. And that is not okay, ever.
Sometimes, though, do you think maybe it gets into a brainwash scenario, though, in those situations? But that's still wrong.
I think if somebody gives you the okay, because for some people, there is a fetish for being brainwashed, per se, or being hypnotized is a fetish, you know, which can come from people who want to feel like they're not in control of themselves. Some people like to lose control during sex, and that's okay. But you have a safety word set up for, like, if this goes too far and I say this word, everything ends. You know, I've had clients who wanted to be in a kidnapping scenario. Now, something like that is something you have to build up a lot of trust to do. It wouldn't be something like, hey, I just met you and I want you to kidnap me in a role play. Because if you don't have the trust to know that when you say your safety word, if you have to say it, you know, you might not have to say it, that it will be respected, everything will stop, and you come back to the real world and you leave that role play alone. And you make sure that that person is okay, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. So there's a lot that goes into this type of lifestyle, and why I tell people that they need a master fetish trainer to help them get into it or go through it, or a trainer of some sort, because if you just jump into it, whether single or in a couple, you might wind up hurting yourself. You might wind up messing up a relationship or hurting someone else. So it's very important to take steps to go through it.
In your relationship currently, you have sex with people outside of your relationship when you're on film or getting paid for a job, like a porn gig, but are you open otherwise, or is it just you guys and work, or do you even have time for more sex than that?
We're an open polyamorous couple. I mean, I define myself as polyamorous. Jasmine defines herself as sexually opportunistic. So it works out it works out pretty well.
Okay. What is your address? Just kidding.
69.
Oh goodness.
Nah.
When you have sex, sometimes do you like to have videos of yourself on having sex?
What, just like for my own personal?
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna fuck you right now, but I'm also gonna watch me fucking you over there, or like, do you like to have sex to your own porn on?
Oh no, not
or do you masturbate to your own porn?
I don't really turn it on and just watch it to masturbate, but I mean, like when I'm editing, sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, that shit was hot as hell." And
oh, you do your own editing?
For my website. When I'm hired for other people's companies, no, but I do for my own website.
You really do it all.
Sometimes.
But you don't ever you're never with a girl and you're like, "Hey, do you want to have sex to my porn?" It's okay to admit it.
No, I mean, I've had clients or people who want to have sex to my porn. I think that's cool, but yeah. It's not something I would request.
Okay, I think you watch it every morning. Just kidding.
I watch the numbers every morning.
Oh,
Like,
how many
oh,
people are watching it?
this many people downloaded it.
Oh, where's the best place to find your porn?
KingNoireXXX.com.
Oh, and do interviewers get free? Um,
You couldn't even complete that sentence with a straight face. So no.
so no, so
There
no.
are previews available on X videos. You can definitely check those out.
Okay.
I'll send you some. I got you.
No, it's okay. I feel weird now knowing you.
It's like it's weird to watch
Like
you
he's like a
now.
brother. I can't watch this. I already talked to him.
I mean, there's a fetish for that too, but that's
Oh
different.
gosh, yeah, I know. What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie of all time is Do the Right Thing.
What is that?
You've never seen Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee?
No.
Okay, well that's your homework.
Okay. Do the right thing. It sounds like a kid's movie.
Mm, I wouldn't say that.
Okay. I've noticed some pictures of you doing some strangling, audio asphyxiation. Is that what that's called?
Hmm.
Do you enjoy breath? You mentioned that you enjoy seeing your partner's breath change as
Yeah,
you're with them.
I enjoy both choking and being choked.
What do you prefer better?
I don't have a preference.
Okay. Do you have a favorite hole to fuck?
Do I have a favorite hole to fuck?
If you just got
I
to
mean,
pick one of the
I
three for the rest of time, what would it be?
oh, pussy all the way.
Okay. What is your sign?
I'm a Capricorn.
Interesting. How old are you?
I am 37 years old.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Not by blood.
What's your favorite color?
Black.
Do you have a favorite type of woman?
Confident.
What's your favorite food?
Home cooked meals, and if I'm out, sushi.
That is a big juxtaposition there. Do you ever eat sushi from the grocery store?
I have tried it before and it was trash, so not anymore.
I do it all the time.
You know
I
what?
can't
I feel
afford
like
the ones at the
the rice
restaurant.
is always messed up. Can't do it. The rice be
What
crazy
is
on those.
what is your favorite part of a woman's body?
Well, that changes often, but I'm a big fan of lips.
What's your favorite part of your body?
Ooh. I think my V line is what I would say today.
I've seen your V line. Is that the one right above your jeans? Or right
Yeah,
below your jeans? Yeah.
that one.
You do have a very nice V line.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Do you remember how old were you when you first had sex?
11 or 12.
What? Who was it with?
An older girl from the neighborhood.
Go you.
Yay.
Do you think it was good?
I have no idea. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was the most amazing thing ever at the time.
Yeah. Okay, so when you're being dominant, and how far can you take your sub that they're still okay, and then what do you do for them after?
It all depends on the individual. Not everybody has the same limitations or the same capacity to, or the same desire to go
Right.
in different directions. You know, someone who likes getting tickled is different than somebody who wants to use paddles until they have welts on their ass. You know, so it all depends on the person. Afterwards, aftercare is very important. You know, just there's so much that goes through our minds, both thought-wise but also chemically, that it is very important that when you're done with a session to hold on to somebody, talk to somebody. Like I have one sub, all she wants to do is eat. Another one who really needs to be held and just comforted to just kind of come back, you know, from that subspace.
You don't like to be like super painful, but you do like flogging. You do like to do impact play, but you don't like to be. You mentioned earlier that like you're not in it for just like the pain of pain.
Well, if someone gets off on pain, then I'm all for it.
Okay.
If someone doesn't get off on pain, then I'm not going to cause someone pain who doesn't want it.
Okay. But you enjoy seeing how far somebody will is it even kind of like let themselves go or will let you go? Or is it a combination of the two?
Combination of both. Because like for myself, like with flogging, for example, I enjoy the physicality of it. There's work that you have to put in. You know, you're moving your own body to bring that impact to someone else's body. So both of us are going through physical experiences, and I like to push myself as well.
Yeah. I want you to tell me about your music and where that comes from. First of all, like you have a new song that just came out.
Yes.
Yes. What is it? And then I want to know like how it you got inspired to do it.
Well, the song is called It's Business. And just the beginning of the song really is what inspired me to do it. Like the first lines are, so there's no business like show business except whole business I know. So stay the fuck about my business, my Joe business, get dough. Like it's very, very like to the point, there's a lot of times when people have a perception of sex workers like we owe them something, like if you purchase an experience that somehow means that you have ownership over our bodies. And that's just not how it works. I just put that to music. And, like if you ever read the comments in, any of those porn videos that you watch, if you go into like Pornhub or something, like people speak really crazy about sex workers and feel that that's okay. If you follow
Can you give me an example?
well, I mean, shit, just go on to Twitter right now and look at how somebody is talking to a porn star, where somebody be like, call somebody bitch or slut or hoe or this, that, or the other, in a disrespectful way, just because they think they can because we have sex on camera.
Right.
And to me, it's art. It's porn. It's not something everybody can do. It's like one of those things, one of those weird catch-22s where it's like, oh, everybody can do that. How can you do that? You know what I mean? Like it's always like that. And that's what the song is about, where it's just like, it's my body. I'm going to do as I feel. And I got some value to it and enjoy it. It's art. It's business. It's a good fucking time.
This might be an uncomfortable question, but is your mom still alive?
Yes, she is.
How was that for her? Like, does she know about everything you do or when you started, or how was your relationship with her? I know you talk about how strong she was and
Oh
what a
yeah,
great mom she
she
was.
she she knows what I do. My mother actually is she retired. She's a health activist and teacher. So she helped get, sex education in schools in New Jersey and worked with people with lung cancer or heart disease and spoke to people in the community about how to live healthier lives. So in that aspect, she loves what I do because, besides this, I also do physical training for people as well. And, the lectures and seminars that we do on sexual health, porn and parenting, trauma, drama, and kink, all these things that we do helps people mentally, physically, emotionally, sexually. So she loves what I do.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
My mom doesn't know about this podcast.
I'm telling you, it's worth letting her know.
Yeah.
It is. It's really worth it because we get in this zone that we have to, again, like we said before, like
It's a
to
shame
fit in
thing you were
to
talking
fit in a
about.
box, we have to fit in a box so we won't feel the shame. But you're an adult. Your parents don't always have to like it, but at least they'll respect it if you're upfront and honest with them.
I'm worried that she won't be able to sleep at night, though. She already can't sleep because she's worried about everything all the time.
Okay.
So, and I don't know if that's just like an excuse for me to not tell her
Hmm.
or not, but part of me wants to tell her, but part of me is like, it's been a struggle for me since I've been creating this. But part of me, like, it is who I am. So I want to talk
Let
to
them
people
know.
about it and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, you're the first king that ever gave me advice, so it might be dumb not to take it.
Facts.
Do you have, I mean, I can't imagine you having one, but do you have a sexual bucket list item that you haven't gotten to do?
I don't have a bucket list in general. Just
Yeah, but
I think of new things every day, and then I'm like, oh, I want to try that.
yeah, but like what?
I have never had a full sexual experience on a plane. Like I've gotten head on a plane, I've fingered a woman on a plane, but I've never like fucked on a plane, and I fly so much that that's like a constant fantasy that I have. Like I really do want to fuck on a plane. The thing is, I don't want to fuck in that little ass bathroom on a
Yeah.
plane.
Can I tell you something?
What's up?
I've fucked on a plane.
You're my hero.
Thanks. It wasn't great. I'll say that.
Don't ruin it for
I
me.
know, but it was a daytime flight and we did it twice. I think
Damn.
you can do it. But I think like it has to be you have to be like ready to get off like quick.
Mm.
And you're so big. You might not even fit in there very well.
But I don't want to get in that little ass,
I
that
know.
little ass
But
thing.
it's not like honestly, if you have sex on a plane but you're in a private jet, like go fuck yourself. You know, like that doesn't even count. Like that takes all the
That
balls
counts.
out of it.
No,
I feel like half
I
the
want to be flying. I don't care if people are on the plane or not. I want to be flying and having sex. Like that's the part. It could be
right.
in a blimp, helicopter, spaceship, as long as they don't probe me. I'm with it.
Maybe a hot air balloon?
Hot air balloon, that would be dope.
That would be
Because
cool.
then when you like looking over,
Right.
I don't know why I picture it being in like Bavaria, because I feel like that's the only place they actually have hot air balloons. That would be nice.
Yeah. But for me, I think the most exciting part about having sex on a commercial airplane is getting away with having sex on the commercial airplane and then coming out of the
Yeah.
bathroom and like that was kind of the exciting and scary part.
But those bathrooms are just too small and
Yeah, it
just
wasn't great, but
stink. So that's the tough part.
yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's think of another thing. And I'll tell you what, I've done it. Just kidding.
It's just like I might not have told my mother, but I did that shit. Well, another one I have this fantasy that I really, really want to do for a scene where have you ever watched the show Chopped on the
Oh,
Food Network?
no, but they like give you like a couple items.
Yeah, but it's more just the cooking reality show kind of situation.
Okay.
I want to do that, but with women who I'm eating like a delicacy off of them.
Oh, that's cool.
So like for one of our videos, we had like eaten sushi off of a model or something like that, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is so dope. Like, what else can you eat off of somebody? And so they would all kind of compete. Like, I made my pussy into sweet potato pie, or I don't know, like the cherry on top with the whipped cream or whatever, and then I have to judge their pairing of the food with their pussy. Like, I think that would be
That is amazing. And I've done it. I'm just
wild.
kidding. I have not done that. That I think is like a really good idea.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
So, you heard it here first.
Yeah. So
And
if anyone
if you
takes it,
see anybody else do it, then I have the right to show up on set and break their lights.
yes. Do you like to have sex with food in general?
I do. I'm a foodie.
So what kind of food do you have sex with?
I used to have a thing like I loved eating peaches off of a woman's body. Like I love peaches. It's one of my favorite fruits. And I just think that the way peaches and is the peaches out of the can, they have that heavy syrup. And also the way that they're cut, one side is really, really smooth, and then the other side has like those little ridges.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice way to kind of run them over somebody's skin, and the difference of how it feels over your nipple from the smooth side to the cut side, I think is really nice.
You really like to take your time during sex.
I do.
I think that's all I have right now. Let me think. Is there anything that you would like to talk about that we have not chatted about?
No, I think we covered a lot of ground, and there were a lot of questions, and
Yeah.
we went off on a couple of tangents
I
that I
like
did
those
not.
tangents.
No, that I'm saying that we didn't,
Yeah.
that I haven't had in other interviews. So it's definitely different. I think people will dig it.
Yeah, I think it's been really fun to talk to you. King, it was really awesome to have you here today. Thank you so much for talking to us about all this stuff. I really loved,
Yeah,
like, honestly, my favorite part was kind of talking about the shame around sex and fetish and trying to find a way that you can have what you want, know that it's okay, and know that there's a partner that can find that with you
yes, yes.
and that you help people do that is so beautiful and so unexpected. And that's what I love about my job is learning that people are doing that out there.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I
Yeah,
enjoyed chopping it up with you.
yeah. And so I want everyone to know I want you to tell the name of your song again and your album coming out, but also your Instagram or anything else that you want people to be able to find you with. It'll also be on the show notes at the bottom of the podcast or on InterestingSexPodcast.com.
That's what's up. Well, you can definitely find the new single, It's Business, and the previous single, Radiator, on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, everywhere that you find the music that you fuck to. And all you got to do is look up King Noir, KingNoire. You can Google me if you want to. There's a whole lot of nakedness on there, so it's not suitable for work.
It's good nakedness, though. It's really good nakedness. Everyone, look him up.
Naked. And it's King Noir, at King Noir on Twitter and Instagram, and The King Noir on Facebook and Tumblr.
Do I say naked wrong?
Nah, you said it just fine.
Okay, I thought you said naked.
Yeah, naked.
What's the difference? Is there a difference? Naked.
One might be a little sweatier.
Naked is sweatier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it sounds sweatier. I think I'm going to go get sweaty right now.
That sounds good.
So thank you so much for being here. If anyone has any more questions or anything, or if you want to update me about any fun sex stories in the future, I'd love to hear more about your sex, and I'd love to get to talk to your voice again. Otherwise,
No
I'll
doubt.
just repeat this podcast daily to hear your voice when I go to sleep.
Or you just have to book a fetish training session for yourself and experience it and tell all of your listeners about it.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Have a good night.
Okay, bye, King.
Peace.
If my vagina was paired with a food, I would turn it into a banana split. Because then, like, the banana could be, like, coming out of it with, like, chocolate sauce on it and, like, sprinkles. I think sprinkles would suit my lady very well. Anyway, guys, I had so much fun with this episode. I am so happy to be having you as a part of my 2019. Please come visit me at InterestingSexPodcast.com. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. You know the things. I hate saying the things. You know the things. The things. Do the things. I love you. Let's be thankful that we get to have sex with who and how we want, and we're so lucky to be in a place in this time, in this world, on this planet where that is a possibility. And let's send our love and our support to those who never get that choice and who are put into sex trafficking. It's the worst thing I could ever imagine. 10% of any profits from this show is going to go to help those who are sex trafficked, bring awareness to, and to help stop and to save some people that are stuck in that hell. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Please come back next week to see what the pussy drags in. See you next Tuesday. Girl, get it. Thank you to the band 41 for letting us use this awesome song. I love it so much. Check them out on their website. It's the number 41music.net.